If your dog has some behaviours you find odd, it could be that we simply don't understand what we're looking at. In this Animal-Wised video, we explain the reasons behind 10 of the most common dog behaviours. The dog is a social animal. Dogs are characterised by being very sociable animals, a trait that has also been enhanced during their domestication and breeding. For this reason, it's not surprising they constantly seek our attention and affection, even more than towards other members of the same species. Check out the first info video to learn more about canine language so you can understand your dog perfectly. You are their reference figure. Dogs see in us a figure of reference for purposes of security. Especially in places they don't know well, it's completely normal for them to follow us. This both avoids them getting lost and provides reassurance that their guardian is by their side. Having this feeling of security directly influences their well-being. They want to know what you do. Once inside the home, the dog also follows us to see what activities we do. This is a way to enrich their day-to-day and avoid monotony. It's also possible they follow us to make sure they can pick up some crumbs that we have dropped in the kitchen, or to simply try to participate in what we're doing. You are their caregiver. Dogs tend to follow those who provide them the most comfort or with whom they share the strongest bonds. It's necessary to add that a dog will not only follow an owner for their material needs they can provide, but also due to the love, affection and companionship we provide them. Discover 10 things your dog is trying to tell you in the next info video we share. Separation anxiety. There is another factor that influences this behaviour and that it's very important we address: separation anxiety. If left untreated, separation anxiety creates an insecure, distrustful and fearful personality in your dog, which can lead to other behavioural problems. Other symptoms that you can observe in your dog are the following. When you're away from home, they become destructive, bark and may even urinate or defecate inside. They greet you in an exaggerated way and get depressed when they know you're leaving. They have insecure, skittish and dependent behaviours. They are unable to be alone or manage their loneliness properly. Separation anxiety is a serious behaviour problem that affects many dogs. It's important to go to a professional to correctly diagnose the problem and provide the appropriate guidelines to solve it. For this, you can consult a trainer, a canine educator or a veterinarian specialised in ethology. Some may find it gross, others encourage it, but what does your dog mean when they lick you?
Why do dogs lick your face? Dogs lick our face as a display of the love and affection they feel towards humans. This behaviour is considered affiliative behaviour, which certain animals carry out to strengthen the bond they have with others. This is why it's common for dogs to lick your face when you get home as a greeting. They are happy to see you and want to welcome you in style. There are few better welcomes in the world. Why do dogs lick our mouths? One reason a puppy will lick your mouth is because they are hungry and want you to give them food. This is an instinctive behaviour seen most commonly with puppies when being weaned onto solid food. The purpose of this lick is to ask their mother to regurgitate some food for them. When adult dogs lick your mouth, it has several meanings and it can be a sign of affection as above, or simply as a way to get our attention or even wake us up in the morning. Dogs may also lick our mouth as a calming signal when they are stressed or overwhelmed, asking us to chill. If they are licking us because they feel uncomfortable, we need to identify the cause of the stress and avoid it, especially if it is due to our own behaviour. Why do dogs lick feet? There are different reasons why dogs lick feet. In most cases, it's due to the smell they give off. Sweating expels salts that dogs find irresistible, even if it seems unappealing to us. They can also lick our feet to initiate play, as a way to investigate new smells, or simply to get our attention. Why do dogs lick our hands? This behaviour is related to their curiosity. Dogs love to explore and learn about the world around them, including the humans that enter their environment. Our hands can reveal a lot about what we do during the day, the places we have been, and the things we have touched. When your dog licks you, they can taste evidence of these activities. In this way, the dog tries to know a little more about your routine. Also, as in the previous case, they may simply be investigating a certain odour. Why do dogs lick our ears? Our ears are one of the most enticing body parts to dogs. They lick the ears of humans and other dogs often. This behaviour is usually due to one of three reasons. The first issue is hygiene. Dogs lick each other's ears as a hygiene measure, and they may try to do the same with you. It doesn't necessarily mean you're dirty, For dogs, it is only a way to prevent waxy buildup, so this gesture is intended to help you. Secondly, even if it sounds unpleasant, dogs may be licking your ears because they like the taste. Remember that our canine friends know the world through their senses of smell and taste. For this reason, it's not surprising they like to lick us constantly. Lastly, they may be doing it to show you affection. As with the face, your dog can also lick your ears as a way of expressing their love for you. If you stop to think carefully, when your faithful friend does this, you respond to them with pampering and caressing, which prompts them to continue licking you. But this is not the only way dogs show their love. Discover in the video we share here 10 signs you are your dog's favourite person.
Although it can be a little strange, our dogs will have some good reason for staring at us. We find them out now.
Asking you for something. One of the main reasons why your dog stares at you is to ask for something they need or want. If your dog stares at you very intently when you return home, they may want to go for a walk. Similarly, if they haven't eaten in a while, they may be trying to remind you dinner time is approaching. They may simply want attention or affection, so they stare at you until you pick up on it. This often happens when we are busy doing other things. Although this behaviour is common in dogs, we might end up reinforcing it unconsciously. If we offer them a toy or treat every time they stare at us, they can internalise this action with being rewarded, encouraging them to do it more in the future. They are reading your expressions. Dogs mostly use body language to communicate with their guardians, as well as other animals in their environment. This is partly why they are so attentive to our attitudes, body postures, facial expressions and gestures. By paying attention to these things, they can understand our state of mind and intentions. For this reason, your dog often looks at you to read your emotions and understand what you're trying to express non-verbally. This happens in particular when we speak to our dogs or do something they find curious or strange. They might fix their gaze at us carefully since we are acting out of the ordinary, even if what we do doesn't seem abnormal to ourselves. We need to be careful with our own body language. If you want to improve your bond and communication with your best friend, we invite you to watch the video we share here about canine language. Pay attention to your orders. If your dog stares at you during a training session, it's a good sign. It means they are paying attention to the commands you are trying to teach them. In fact, eye contact plays a key role in dog training, especially if the dog has hearing problems. Before starting each session, we must ensure our dog is attentive and can focus on training. One of the best tests to see if your dog is paying attention is to see if they're able to maintain eye contact with you. They are angry and preparing to attack. Have you ever seen your dog adopt a defensive stance when staring at you? Dogs often interpret this attitude as a kind of challenge or confrontation. If your dog stares at you but shows signs of aggression such as baring their teeth, bristling their hair, flattening their ears or growling, it's likely they are angry and preparing to attack. If this happens, you need to look away and walk away slowly, but don't make sudden movements or turn your back on them. You will need to wait for them to calm down. After they have done so, you will need to take them to a veterinarian to rule out the possibility of a medical problem which may lead to behavioural problems such as aggression. After ruling out a physiological issue, you need to seek an ethologist to understand this behaviour.
Although these are general reasons, your dog staring at you while you sleep may be due to something more specific.
How do dogs communicate with us? Before answering the question on why dogs look at us when we sleep, we need to understand some basic methods of canine communication. Over the years of domestication, dogs have developed interspecies communication, of which the eyes play an important role. They are an obvious and efficient way to communicate emotions to humans. The different shapes the eyes can take, such as wide open or narrow, are a result of the muscle movement around the eye. These muscles are known as the palpebral muscle group and are responsible for the different forms the eye can take. It is often an involuntary act on the part of the animal. Depending on their mood, they will move their muscles to convey one emotion or another. This entire process is handled through the dog's central nervous system, and it's similar to how we create various expressions as reaction to stimuli. Additionally, the size of their pupils are revelatory. Pupil dilation is something they cannot control at all. It occurs due to the internal processes motivated by the emotional moment in which it is happening, and it's managed automatically by the central nervous system. This combination of eye movement and pupil dilation, in addition to ear position and lip movement, is known as facial communication. Understanding this, as well as the other expressions of a dog which make up their body language, will help us to understand what our dog is trying to say, but it takes practice and patience. Discover more about canine language in the video that we share here. Why does my dog look at me when I sleep? This is mainly due to a need to protect you. dogs have a highly developed protective instinct, so they may stand guard when they feel we are in a vulnerable position, including when we are asleep. The same can happen when we go to the bathroom or a stranger is present. Now, what if you're not sleeping and your dog is still staring at you? What does their look mean at other times? See the importance of context in this video here. It is also likely your dog lies next to you when you rest, or they tend to stay close to vulnerable people such as children or the elderly. Even if they do not stare at you, when your dog stays either near their trusted guardian or someone they consider weak, it's not only a form of protection from possible danger, it's a clear way to demonstrate love and affection.
Leaning against you can seem like a strange behaviour, but it can often reveal a lot. Find out in our next video.
They love and enjoy your company. If your dog leans on you when you pet them, you can take it as a token of affection. That your dog rests their head on top of you when you are petting or when you stretch out on the sofa together is irrefutable proof they love you and like to be by your side. This is because you offer warmth and security. This is how it goes in litters of puppies as they sleep together, lean on top of each other, and get close to their mother. Discover other fascinating dog behaviour with this video on why dogs lick us. They trust you. The reason why your dog leans on top of you when they sleep or are relaxed is that you provide them with physical and emotional security. By your side, they feel protected and lose the need to stay alert. Without doubt, it's a clear demonstration of confidence. Likewise, it means that the bond you have established is strong and you're considered family by the dog. They want your attention. If your dog spends a lot of time alone and you can't be together as much as you should, it's likely they will perform this behaviour with the intention that you will listen to them, play with them, go for a walk, or you fill their bowl with food. It could also be that your dog has learned that every time they lean on top of you, you pay attention to them. This action is useful when they want something, even if it is simple interaction. To tell others to stay away. You may have observed this behaviour if you live with multiple dogs. The fact that your dog is leaning on top of you when others approach can be a way of wanting all your attention focused on them and not on others. In turn, it serves as a message to the other dogs to stay away from you. If you see your dog displaying other behaviours that express aggressiveness, such as growling when other dogs approach, it could be problematic possessive behaviour. You should also consider doing something in case your dog shows signs that indicate they feel hyper-attachment towards you. Some of these signs are excessive barking to get your attention, destroying objects when you're not at home, or being constantly at your side. In these cases, it could be that your dog experiences separation anxiety when you're not with them, harming their well-being and making it difficult to coexist. For this reason, it's best to see your veterinarian or a canine educator for help. If you want to learn more about separation anxiety, take a look at the video above. Is my dog dominant if they lean on top of me? Nothing is further from the truth, since dominance is an intraspecies specific behaviour, meaning it is only performed by dogs with other dogs. If you've lived with several dogs at the same time, you may have noticed that they do not behave the same towards each other as with you. Although it seems obvious, your dog knows that you are not a dog. Their way of relating to you is the result of learning, not instinct. As they are a domestic animal, they have the ability from a young age to shape the way they communicate with you. For this reason, you must offer a basic education that allows you to interact positively with them and create a good bond between you.
Continuing with strange dog behaviours, now we're going to explain why your dog sometimes nibbles you. Exploratory behaviour. Puppies and adolescent dogs are very curious. The best way for them to explore the world around them is through their mouths. With small bites, they discover new flavours and textures, as well as relate to other individuals. This is the reason why puppies bite everything and chase everything that moves, including our hands and feet. If your dog bites your feet when walking, don't miss the video on the card above. Play behaviour. We only have to walk past a dog when they are in the mood to see how readily they can want to play. We see this when they are with each other, enacting hunting behaviours and even biting each other gently. We humans are part of their social group, so dogs see us as a playmate. They enjoy running after us and nipping at us once they catch us. If your dog nips at you gently, they may simply want to initiate a play session with you. If your dog bites you as part of a game or they are a puppy still exploring the world around them, you don't have to worry. This behaviour is completely natural and healthy for them to enact. If your dog is very rough and hurts you with their teeth, you will need to teach bite inhibition. You should always have stuffed animals, ropes, or teething toys on hand so you can offer them something to redirect their attention whenever they get excited or play too rough. If your puppy also growls when biting, you should take a look at our next info video. Boredom and demand for attention. Many dogs learn by association to get the attention of their guardians through small nibbles on some part of their body. They may even grab the hem of their pants or sleeves with their teeth and pull at them. If your dog pulls in your clothes, they will most likely bite you to get your attention. Similarly, they can do this to indicate they are bored or when something is frustrating. If a dog grabs your hand with their mouth or pulls at your clothes to get your attention and you subsequently do pay them attention, they will internalize this behavior as appropriate. If you dislike this behavior, you will need to replace it with a more suitable option. Avoid reinforcing your dog if they bite or nip at you, i.e. don't give them the attention they want. Don't scold them as it will be counterproductive. Simply show them gradually that doing this will get them nowhere and they should change tactic. They want space. When a dog feels uncomfortable with our presence or our behavior, they will want us to leave them alone. To do this, they display a series of signs known as calming signals. These include yawning, licking, or turning away. They are often subtle to the point we don't even notice them, so the dog feels compelled to express themselves more intensely through threat signals, which in many cases involve growling and small nips of controlled intensity. If you suspect your dog is giving you small bites because they are uncomfortable, it's important you respect their space. Don't force them to interact with you if they don't feel like it in the moment. It's best to try to identify the reason why your dog may feel tense or stressed and learn about canine language in general. This will help you to communicate effectively and improve your bond. If necessary, a professional educator or ethologist can help. Have you ever watched your dog yawn while being scolded and thought they were bored? Unfortunately, this interpretation is completely wrong. See why in our next video. Calming signals are part of a dog's social behavior. They learn from the time they are puppies, along with their mother and siblings. They are the key to positive interaction with individuals, whether other dogs, other animals, or people. To understand what a dog is trying to communicate, we should not focus on one gesture, but all of them together. A yawn in itself is a positive signal which indicates the dog is comfortable as they are and likely don't want to be disturbed. However, when a dog yawns intensely, it suggests discomfort or frustration. They may do it when we hug them tightly, keep them caged, or manipulate them excessively. It can also happen when we talk to them without their understanding or when we scold them. In this latter case, the dog is trying to convey to us that they don't want trouble. They are uncomfortable and want you to stop. Many guardians don't think it's bad to scold dogs, that it's how they learn. But punishment can cause high levels of stress in canines. It can generate fear, insecurity, and anxiety. When they feel that way, in addition to yawning, the dog will make other calming signals such as turning away, stretching out, or cowering. In short, they are trying to tell us they don't want any conflict. But if we continue, the calming signals will intensify. The dog will make more obvious signs and, if we do not stop, will try to flee. In the most serious cases, the dog will show aggression in an attempt to defend themselves. It is important that, as responsible tutors, we know how dogs learn and what educational methods are most appropriate. At Animal Wised, we base our content on positive education, which includes positive reinforcement and not negative punishment. When a dog performs appropriately, we can reinforce it with a treat or some affection. On the other hand, when they behave inappropriately, we will take away positive interaction. For example, if your puppy bites you while playing, we will leave and stop the game to show that this is not okay. Additionally, to minimize the use of negative punishment, we can try to remove them from any situation which can lead to so-called bad behavior. If we don't want our dog to climb on the couch, we won't scold them, but teach them commands to get back down, rewarding them when they do so. Now you know why dogs yawn when a person scolds them and why they shouldn't be scolded in the first place. We continue with something very common among dogs, the hatred of having their paws touched. It's a sensitive area.
There are some areas on a dog's body which are particularly sensitive. This is because they have a larger concentration of nerve endings. A touch in these areas can generate an exaggerated response in their nervous system, a sensation similar to when we are tickled in sensitive places. It's for this reason dogs generally don't like to have their paws, tails, or noses touched. It provokes a negative association. Although we may intend them to be positive, there are human displays of affection which are not assimilated in a positive way by the dog. Dogs are not used to kissing, hugging, or shaking paws as displays of affection. They generally don't interact with each other's paws since it's not part of their common body language. For this reason, dogs generally don't like to receive affection in the same way as humans, meaning they don't like their paws being touched. Check out the first info video to find out more about why dogs don't like being hugged. They feel pain. We must be attentive to any other symptoms or behaviours which may accompany our dog rejecting us touching their paws. In some cases, our dog may show signs of pain due to itchiness, a wound, or some other injury on their paw. If your dog has injured their paw, we should sanitize the area and take them to a veterinarian. This will allow diagnosis and administration of any necessary treatment. Associates it with a negative experience from the past. A dog may not like their paws to be touched because they associate it with some past trauma. When a dog experiences some sort of negative situation or even abuse, they can associate us trying to touch their paws with this traumatic event. In these cases, the dog's reaction may seem exaggerated and they may try to escape or even become aggressive. If you've just adopted them, it's important you do what you can to learn about their history by speaking to the shelter or previous guardian. If we see signs of phobias or behavioural problems, we should speak to an ethologist or dog behaviourist. Suffers from a disease. If you notice your dog's character has changed, such as by showing more aggression, becoming nervous, or hyperactivity, you should go to a veterinarian immediately. Some diseases which cause pain or impair the senses can result in hypersensitivity or behavioural problems. They have parasites. It's important to remember that a dog's extremities are in constant contact with the ground when walking. This means they can come in contact with dirt, pathogens, or sharp objects which can cause them harm. We also need to rule out the presence of ticks or other ectoparasites which can appear on their paws, even hiding in between their digits. Discover how to get rid of dog ticks with the video in the corner. How to touch a dog's paws when necessary. Even though your dog may not like to be touched on their paws or legs, there are times when we will need to manipulate them. For this reason, it's important we let them become accustomed to having their paws touched from an early age. We must do so while respecting their boundaries. With patience, dedication, and the use of positive reinforcement, you can see your canine can gradually learn to accept their paws being touched.
More than just being comfortable, our next video explains why dogs love to sleep beside us. Dogs are famously known as pack animals, being very sociable by nature. When they establish a strong bond with their human family, it is common to want to follow them everywhere and even sleep in the same bed. If your dog always wants to sleep with you, it means you transmit security and confidence. With you, they are at ease and they see you as a mentor and guide. If we were in the wild, sleeping is when we are most exposed and vulnerable. This is why many dogs prefer to sleep near their human companions, understanding the need to protect their guardian from any potential harm. Wild dogs of the same pack will sleep together to protect each other, although this is not the only reason. Dog packs will also sleep together so they can conserve their body heat, just as they might sleep in a patch of sunlight to catch some rays. Your bed will be one of the warmest and coziest places for them to hunker down for the night. Do you know how comfortable is your dog's bed? If the answer is not very, then it's understandable they will search out somewhere else, such as your bed or the sofa. You can ensure they are warm by placing a more comfortable bed with a blanket next to yours. The main reason your dog wants to sleep in the same bed as you is because they love you. They feel safe, they want to protect you, and they want to show you affection. Sleeping in the same bed is a demonstration of this love and it can help to strengthen your bond. But is it a really good idea? Sleeping in the same bed can be a positive habit for both you and your dog, if you make some general considerations. For example, it is very important to maintain proper hygiene of the animal, especially if they come in from the outside. If we don't, they may not be the only visitor to your bed. Dirt, bugs and parasites might also be present, so regular brushing is also important. We also shouldn't neglect proper preventative medicine. Vaccinations and deworming schedules need to be arranged by the vet to avoid the presence of parasites. Regardless of hygiene, we must consider whether sleeping together provides adequate rest to the animal and ourselves. If you want your dog to sleep in their own bed, remember to buy one which is comfortable enough. It also needs to be the right size and be well placed. Cushions and a blanket will also ensure they will sleep soundly without having to be in your bed. And finally, we're going to explain a very common behaviour in dogs that many guardians don't understand: why they roll in grass.
One of the main reasons dogs roll around in the grass is perhaps the simplest to understand. They want to enjoy the wonders of the outdoors and experience the sensations of their environment. Just as we might, they enjoy the feeling of fresh grass against their body and won't hesitate to have a roll around for a bit of fun. If your dog rolls around after chasing you, making noises, and generally being excited, don't doubt they are playing games and want you to join in with the fun. This behavior can happen all year round, but is typical of summer. They usually look for areas of cool wet grass in which to roll around. This allows them to cool down, aerate their coat and prevent heat stroke. In this case, it is a case of instinctive survival behavior. If you see your dog doing this often, ensure that they are getting enough clean fresh water, as it is possible they are feeling dehydrated. Also, ensure you are on top of their grooming so that their coat is clean and gets well aerated. If your dog is well watered and hydrated, yet constantly and seemingly impulsively engages in this practice, it is recommended that you give your dog an inspection. Look at their skin for possible reddened areas as well as their fur for possible parasites. A dog which wallows constantly or rolls around in the grass may be trying to scratch the itch caused by parasites and in turn relieve some of the accompanied frustration. In case of any abnormality, we suggest going to the vet. It is very common for dogs to wallow and roll anxiously after bathing. It is usually due to the scent of shampoos and conditioners, which dogs don't like. In these cases, they are rubbing themselves to remove the fragrance and get their natural smell back. As unpleasant as it may seem, this behavior is fairly common in puppies, as they use it as a way to discover their environment. However, when an adult dog rubs themselves in feces and urine, they are indicating a problem. This problem may be physical, but more likely than not, it is psychological. In these cases, it is important to take them to a professional to get to the bottom of it and to help ensure such behavior does not become chronic.
Tell us in the comments which of these behaviours surprised you the most, and feel free to add any of your own. We'll see you next time.